is hard, but in a bittersweet kind of way. It's your time to really take control of your life and about where you want to be. So, you have that independence and you have that strength to really figure out where you want to be and what you want to be doing.
Real life is not hard. Everyone is living real life. Who is to say that a 5-year-old is not living the real life that a 30-year-old is living? Having said that, though, I had noticed that after university, we take on certain responsibilities that we're not used to. And of course, it can get hard at times, but it all depends on how you take upon problems.
So, real life is hard for different reasons, right? High school was different than middle school. It was harder than that. College is going to be different, so it'll pose its own challenges. I think you become better equipped to deal with different unique challenges throughout the different phases of your life. That's not to say that you don't retain your friendships from a long time ago, and that doesn't mean that you don't get to meet new people that you can rely on and take advice from, so that each phase is not only met, but also enjoyed and cherished, because really, it can be fun.
Yes, it's definitely difficult. It's hard to understand most of the times, and in reality, you don't really know what your life is going to be about.
Yes, it can be really hard, but with perseverance, you can make anything happen.
Yes. In one word, yes. I think it's, you come to learn that there's no structure and that everything you do, you have to do for yourself. And I think that's the hardest part about it. So any twists and turns that come along the way, there's no real, safety net to catch you. There's no community, as the ACS community is, to sort of guide you along the way. It's anything goes. But, that's what makes it fun, and that's what you need to be prepared for.
The transition from high school to college. I think that one of the most important aspects that, students need to understand is that there are two different cultures between the Greek, and not only Greek, European culture and the American culture. I think taking the time to really understand the differences between those two cultures, not only eating and how people dress, but also understanding things. For example, the American culture is really competitive, and if you really take the time to see how that culture functions, not just in school, but just in friendships and everything, that would really help smooth your transition, because your ability to interact with others will really have an impact in how you perform in school or in sports. For me, I was a student athlete. So I really think that before you choose to go to the United States or any country, you should really take the time to take a look at the cultural differences.
You should always be ready to surrender yourselves to the improbabilities that life more often than not brings to us. Because I think there is more to be said about how to prepare for your plans to be open-ended, and how to prepare that these plans of yours will adopt another form than just what you think is the correct way to plan.
No, I didn't. I had completely different plans when I graduated. But I find myself in a place equally good as the one that I initially wanted to go to.
Standing by something that I didn't like. So when I first started my working, I have done 4 jobs right now, and including my internship. When I started working, I realized that sometimes I I was doing things because I was asked to do them. And of course, it is all that's part of a job. You do what you're supposed to do, and also to improve the company or to improve the organization that you're working at. And there's many times that we're going to be doing things that we don't like. But when you're doing something that you truly don't like a job, and you're staying there just because of the title or what people are going to think about the job, that's wrong. I would have done that differently, because it's not about the others or how you are viewed. It's about what you love. So if you're in a job that you're happy, you can't wait to wake up and go to your work. Of course, not every day, but yeah, most of the time. I mean, I am working right now, and I wake up and I'm really happy to go to work. I come back home. I also like what I do in my spare time, but it's a good balance to have doing something that you love at work and also something that you love after work. So that's something that I would have done differently. If you're doing something in your life that you don't like, stop it. Don't do it anymore. What's the point of it?
College is one of the most life-changing experiences, I would say, because this is the moment where everything you do really will impact the rest of your life, and everything you do will dictate who you will become. I think that the years in college are unforgettable, and not just you make friendships, you make lifelong friendships, you set your foundation for how you will go later on in your jobs, but also you learn how to do a lot of things out of your comfort zone. So you're not around your parents, most likely, you're not with your friends. So this is where you develop habits that, if they're the right ones or the good ones, you can really get to where you really want to get in life. So how did I change personally? Time management, discipline, doing the right thing when you're alone and when you don't have to necessarily, or you're not watched. And just learning to appreciate the little things, your mom's cooking, your friends, being able to call and talk to the people you want when you want, because there are differences in time zones and other things that you'll see for yourself.
So GW is in the heart of DC, literally 3 blocks away from the White House and the IMF and the World Bank. So there was that big plus living there. I remember when Obama won the second presidency, for the second time, I mean, and we all ran down and climbed on the trees, and we were just, really happy that that happened. And I thought that was really unique to have that experience in my life. But in terms of how GW was, I mean, I was 17 when I went there alone. Freshman year, we lived in a building that had 9 floors of 4 to 5 kids in a room. So it was just kind of every student figuring out what to do with, what was going on at that time. And it also taught me to, be myself even more so, and not to not change who I am just to fit in. And I also kept close with a couple of my friends from ACS. So we were all kind of in the same life challenging, point of our lives. And we connected even more so with that as well. So it was just a lot of writing, and I kept a really good relationship with my parents, and I just met a good group of people from all over the world, and that's how it happened.
Life in college at the beginning was quite difficult for me as well. I went to Canada, and the transition was very difficult after being kind of at ACS. I was sheltered and protected in many ways, and I went to a college with 60,000 students where I didn't have the individual attention, and so I had to learn to do it myself. But after I got over the initial hump of the college experience, it was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. And I learned a lot of skills, and it was very productive for me. And I found that a lot of the skills I had learned at ACS were also definitely applicable to my college experience.
Yes. For me, the thing that it helped the most to do was to actually get you prepared for what university teachers are going to ask and what they're going to grade and what they're going to be looking for in terms of your work. It helped get me into university, and it definitely helped me the first year to figure out what exactly the university expectations are of you?
I think the IB program was worth it. I think the more I grow up and the more I meet people in my life, I realize that the importance of being a well-rounded human being is huge. And I think the IB program definitely gives you that, and it through TOK and through extended essays and through CAS and all that, you get really good experiences and exposure to many different aspects of life. And I think that really helps everyone along the way.
I do not regret doing the IB at all, even though it was the hardest thing I did during high school. So many hours of studying and having very difficult classes for the first time, not being able to see my friends when I wanted to because I had other priorities. It was extremely difficult. But when I heard from the admissions counselor that I would be getting credit for some of the classes I took during IB, that made everything worth it at that point.